Slow travel is coming out into a spacious place, witnessing new and wonderful sights, and staying for just long enough to let it set your heart alight. My name is Kat. Welcome to episode 8 of the Slow Living Guide, where I give you the A to Z on slow living and hopefully provide a pocket of calm in your day. In last week's episode, we chatted about how to cultivate a slow home, so if that's of interest to you, then do be sure to check it out at the end of the video and subscribe for future content. Pandemic aside, travel has become so much more accessible in recent years, what with cheaper flights and package holiday deals. As an avid travel lover and having lived in multiple countries over my lifetime, I think this is generally a good thing. Travel has the capacity to widen people's perspectives, and tourism is a really awesome industry that helps boost local economies. However, this travel accessibility has been problematic in some ways. Firstly, travel seems to have become almost competitive and more about the destination than the journey. It's almost like if you can go to some famous location, then you should. I live in Europe, so there are dozens of famous cities and locations within just an hour or two by air or even train from where I live. So you can imagine the temptation to just hop to Paris for a weekend trip, take a few Instagram photos and move on to the next thing. I'm aware that probably sounds pretty mad to a lot of my non-Europe based viewers, but that is genuinely how easy and accessible travel has become in this part of the world. This kind of travel is based on going to the most touristy destinations and checking all the landmarks off of your bucket list. It means, for example, going to see some famous painting or building even though you have no real personal interest in art or architecture or history. You may end up sacrificing a walk in a beautiful park or a coffee at a little known cafe for something that, if you're being honest with yourself, you never really wanted to do in the first place. Probably the biggest problem with this kind of high-paced travel though is that it's really not that kind to the environment. For so long, I've let the vanity of my travel checklist take precedence over the environmental protections of the very places that I'm travelling to, the places that I claim to love. Slow travel offers a refreshing alternative. Slow travel is, first and foremost, about slowing down as you travel to deeply experience the local culture, rather than skimming over it in a rush to get onto the next thing. Here are some ideas for how you can implement slow travel in your own life. As much as it is possible to aesthetically enjoy a country without being informed on its history, the best way to deepen your appreciation of the culture is to do some research beforehand. This will not only help you plan your sightseeing on a more practical level, but it will also help you to understand more deeply what each site actually means to locals who live there. Where possible, choose slower methods of transport, at least once you arrive at your destination. Walking and cycling are awesome because you have the freedom to stop off anywhere you choose and will likely experience a more authentic version of the country you're visiting. However, if you're in Scotland and it's been raining for 8 days straight, travelling by train is also a good option. The heart of culture is found in the people, so staying with a host family is an incredible way to experience this to the full. For a start, you have immediate access to local advice on the best places to see and things to eat, and the best tips for avoiding the tourist traps in the area. A great alternative to staying with locals is to stay at an Airbnb, as you'll still get some contact with locals, but you'll have a bit more freedom and flexibility. As a linguist, I am admittedly a little bit biased for this tip, but I cannot express just how much knowing even a little bit of the local language can transform your trip. Not only will knowing the language be useful from a practical standpoint, but it will also allow you to build rapport and even friendships with locals.
Немяко.
Да.
Мне нравится, когда это мягко.
Ну, оно внутри мягкое, да, но снаружи оно такое чуть-чуть хрустит, а внутри мягкое.
In the words of Nelson Mandela, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. I know most of us are currently stuck at home and not really getting to travel at all these days, but hopefully things will loosen up a bit in the next year or so. When they do, perhaps you'll take the slow travel approach and stop to smell the roses. And in the meantime, you can let us know in the comments what your dream travel destination is and why. If you're enjoying the video or have learned something new, do be sure to click the wee like button and share the video with a friend who you think might benefit from the message. Although this is, for now, the final episode of the Slow Living Guide, I will be continuing to post content on sustainability, slow living, and a wee bit about my life in Scotland. So if that's of interest to you, then do be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell and you won't miss that. Until next time, it was lovely to have you here.